like I said, so once this kingdom is taken down, man, it's a wrap for him. Because Esau thinks that that because he took him out of power, he took us out of power, it's gonna go back and forth. Man. That's not the case, man. All right. That's not the case, because matter of fact, I was on the internet today, man. You had this dude talking about, Esau can be saved, man. And our whole job is to come out here and just follow the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, man. When you have, our whole duty is to teach these scriptures, man. So you have scriptures that talk about Esau, which is the so-called white man. Matter of fact, grab Obadiah 1:18. When you have scriptures like this, that tells you in the end result of Esau, man. But our people is so they like to look at colors, all right? Because you'll see a person that looks like a so-called white man, but he might have the spirit of a Jake, man, all right? Because his father's seed might go back to a so-called black. But you got guys that come out here and teach that, he looks like a cracker, that's a cracker. They have no understanding. And first of all, they'd have no understanding of how we were spread on all four corners of the earth. All right? But,
so Obadiah 1:18, it says, in the house of Jacob shall be fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, in the house of Esau stubble. They shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining in the house of Esau. The Lord has spoken.
That's right. So how the hell is Esau going to make it? How is Esau going to be saved? Coming over here trying to talk shit. Again, man. So you just heard it. Obadiah 1:18. That's basically letting you know, man. All right, that Esau is not going to be saved. You know what they're going to be saved for? To build up our kingdom, to be slaves. And after 1,000 years of them doing their duty to us, then they're going to be completely annihilated. Man. You're not going to be able to walk in the kingdom and see no so-called pale face, man. Their spirit is just going to go into other nations, which because the soul can never be destroyed. All right, so their soul can never be destroyed. But you got dudes that really want to want the so-called white man to be saved, and that's that Willie Lynch syndrome, man. The Stockholm syndrome, that Uncle Ruckus spirit, man. Because we do have enemies, man. But our people don't care to understand or want to know who their enemy is, man.
It's Book of Psalms, chapter 72, verse 4. It says, he shall judge the poor of the people, he shall save the children of the needy, and shall break in pieces the oppressor.
And so he's going to judge the poor of the people, right? Who's the poor of the people? You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right? And the judgment is going to start with the house of Israel, man. All right? And like you say time and time again, man, if you're a father and your child does something wrong, you're going to punish your child before you punish somebody else's child. Why? Because you want your child to be right, because your child represents you. And that's the same way that we represent the Lord. So since we went off, the Lord is going to start his judgment with us, man. And you can see it now, man. That's why our people was getting jacked up with the police killing us, You have us being locked up all the time, man. Why? Because you don't want to turn back to the Lord and listen to the words of the Lord. Keep going on.
So Psalm 72 and 2. It says, it's Psalm 72 and 4. It says, he shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy.
He shall save the children of the needy. Go ahead.
It says, and shall break in pieces the oppressor.
Yeah, so he's going to break in pieces the oppressor. Who's the oppressor? The people making all these laws, you know? The ones that have the so-called people that down right now, man. The ones putting the drugs and everything in your neighborhoods, man.
Yeah, the people that basically, have authority to basically the power to do these things. Right now, you know what I'm saying, as on a large scale, you really don't have the power to do it. And because, economic power and all that stuff only goes so far. Like Esau the so-called white man, he has basic control over who has money and all that stuff. Like, if he wants to just, somebody that has money and all this stuff, like that, he could just destroy them, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because he has the power to do it.
Can I ask a question? Y'all believe like the white man is devil?
I mean, the Edomites.
Okay, so that's not like they don't come up like as a white person.
You know that.
Yeah, it's like the thing is with the scriptures is it's according to their seed. Like you have people like say like just in case of like in the entertainment world or something. You have people that may look like white people, but their seed of their father goes back to Israelites.
Okay.
Just like how you had like
So they may be classified in this society as white, but they're not really white.
Yeah, just like you heard about like the Moors and all that stuff. For example, I said like the Moors.
Moors, yeah, the Moors.
Like they was like a lot. Some of them were Israelites, but they married. Just say like you had like Hannibal. You had the I think it was the Punic Wars and stuff like that. He fought Rome. So when he like conquered like southern Italy and all that, the Moors, the Israelites, they would basically kill the men and have sex with the women and all this. So it's like the seed would be so-called black men.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I got word. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and 7. It says, O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day.
Yeah, confusion of faces because we basically forgot who we are, we forgot our heritage. Like a lot of those people that are basically the scriptures say, Isaiah, I think it's 9:19. Because the scriptures say that we would be basically like scattered. So we were scattered through all the nations because we broke the laws. Everything that's happening to us is not just because the so-called white man, he's just so powerful and he's like God and all that stuff. It was because they broke the covenant that our power gave us. So he basically punished us by letting this base man rule over us for a certain period of time. Right. Just like how if your parents basically punish you, it's only for a certain amount of time and it's not anymore. So that's basically what's happening.
Book of Hosea, chapter 9, verse 17. It says, my God will cast them away because they did not hearken unto him. And they shall be wanderers among the nations.
Yeah, we was basically like wanderers among the nations. Like say for example, in 70 AD, when the Romans basically besieged Jerusalem and all that stuff, you had they basically in order to avoid Roman persecution and slavery, just massacres and all that stuff, our people fled into the interiors of Africa. They fled into like Europe and all this stuff. And like while they was in, like say like Africa, the way that you can kind of differentiate them from the other people, the indigenous people that were there, because of their customs and all that stuff. Because we're like it's not that hard to understand, but we had different customs and the other dark skinned people and all that. Just like how you had instances where in the scripture they basically fled into Egypt and all that stuff. They, some of the
say like like the Africans, like I do see like we kind of different, like you know what I mean, like we got like far as like we may kind of look the same, but it's like like we kind of different. I'm thinking like because we like had some experience, but like so even when we were over in Africa, we were like always different from the Africans. With an African, and I claim to be African. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, like I guess in the context of what I was saying I was African. He started laughing, and he was like, I'm like, what's African? He's like, you're not African. He said, I'm American. That's what he said. I'm like, he clearly don't consider me to be him.
Well, but then you even have so-called white people that like I know this guy's name is Son. He's white, looks like a man. He call himself African the same way you call yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's just
Exodus 11:7. When it gets to children of Israel, shall not a dog know his tongue against man or beast, that they may know that the Lord hath put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
right. So them Egyptians is another nation. That we look like. That's why you have nowadays people now you have this whole Egypt. Now people with kings and pharaoh. Then you had a guy that was right? An Israelite. But he was one of the top ranking officers in Egypt at the time. But he came from the lineage of Jacob, which was his father. Right? So that's why Jacob gave the blessing to his two sons. He gave the blessing. But at that particular time he was ruling in Egypt. You know? And then like I said, like I think Moses giving up that so Moses was an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? But it was just the Lord let that happen the way it happened. So he could like that's the way the Lord ordained them.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I'm kind of interested in the doctrine. There's some things I disagree with it.
Like what you disagree with?
No, we just focus on the agreement.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of arguments in person.
Okay,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
well I say the make that call.
But I say like, you know what I mean? The thing that I say what I can concur that I'm an Israelite, I can't get around to Deuteronomy 28. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what part of it?
well, really, well, the curse, well, all of them, starting from the beginning, I think it's 28, all the way up down to 68.
Something
You got the
about
curses.
from 1 to 68. Well,
Yeah.
1 to 15 is
It's
all
the
the
blessings,
blessings,
right,
right? So that's easy. Because that's just like, you telling your son, if you do these things, you're going to get this reward. If you mess up, this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, what I'm basically saying is that, like, when I read the curses, I'm like, damn, you can apply this about all of them to African Americans. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, it's definitely a very interesting doctrine.
So that's a beautiful thing, man, because that lets you know that this book right here is for you. Because if them curses apply to you, if them curses didn't apply to you, you would be of another nation. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't everybody catching hell the way we catching hell.
Well, I guess 68 is the one that I'm going to bring you in the Egyptian ships again. Yeah, because that's the one that's very interesting because it's really like a prophecy of
that prophecy already happened.
Yeah. But see, like America can be considered a new Egypt. You know what I mean?
It is. Go ahead,
So Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, it says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way
That's
whereof."
right. So back then we was already in Egypt, which the word Egypt just means bondage. So we was over there in bondage. Have we been back to Egypt since the time that we were delivered? Well, how people be like, well, I'm gonna say so-called delivered, but we were delivered out of that land, right? Our people have not been back over there.
It says, "By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again."
So when you say thou shalt sin no more again, it's talking about our land, right? Since we came over here, we have not been back over there to our land at all. And Egypt wasn't our land. We just was in bondage because we all come from Jerusalem, Israelites. You know, which we can get that scripture to the word out.
It says, "Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bond men and bond women,
There it go, right
and no
there.
man shall buy you."
There you go. You shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. What's that? That's a slave, right?
Right.
When it says no man shall buy you, that's no man shall save you. Right? So say if you was an NBA player, right? Playing the NBA. Now you become a free agent because you have a contract. Right? So you're playing under a contract. Now once your contract is over, you're a free agent, so now you're free to roam. Just like when we was in slavery. Right? You had free slaves up in the northern regions, so to speak. Right? Like north Maine, you know, down south. Yeah. So, but you had, matter of fact, they even portrayed that on 12 Years a Slave when they took the guy from New York and brought him down there and sold him in slavery. You know? So ain't nobody saving him from that. You know what I'm saying? So like, oh yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, man. So since and then modern day, right now we still enslaved. Because you got our people walking around talking about the African Americans. We're talking about with Muslims, Christians. You know, there's some other stuff about us. Egyptologists, man. Wow. Yeah, cut. Moors, yeah, cut. All that, man. So that's, and then you have liquor stores on every corner in your neighborhood, so-called black man's neighborhood, right? And also you have churches on every corner. Churches to keep you spiritually drunk. Even the masjids. Then you have the liquor stores to keep you physically drunk. You know? That's like back in the day they got like Public Enemy, man. They was like, yo, red, black, and green and all that. You know what I'm saying? It's like my mom coming up, my mom used to tell me that shit with the college and all that. She's like, yo, the Africans don't like this. Why is that, man? Matter of fact, man, that's what you read something about how they all conspire together.
It's Deuteronomy chapter 83, verse 1. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O Most High, hold not thy peace, and be not Psalms 83 and 1. "Keep not thou silence, O Most High, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High, for lo, thy enemy maketh tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head."
That's right. So the enemies, man. Who is the enemy of the Most High, man? All these other nations that don't agree. Well, first of all, they're not going to follow the Lord anyway. You know, and his enemies, they the ones that got us in bondage, man. Which is going to explain even more. Go ahead,
It says, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones."
That's right. So they took crafty counsel and against, you know, it's like, you know what I'm talking.
It says, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones."
That's right. Consulted against his hidden ones, talking about the hopeful elect. The men, the 144,000 is chosen.
It says, "They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance."
So where did they do that in? They did that in nowadays, right? But they're Edomites. They all came together to cut us off from being a nation. Because over there in that region, I forgot what year it was, but they had, matter of fact, something it's called the window or something, but it's not the window, but it's a door. It's a red door where all the presidents go to, and they'll stand Michelle Obama stood, and she was looking, it was just a big ass desert. But that desert was actually where the slave trade came from. That used to be our land, over there in that region. You know? So now on the map, it literally said the land of Judah. Right? Now they wiped that off completely. So that puts that scripture in the light right there. You know? Because they cut us off from being a nation. Because if you sit here and tell our people that Israelites they don't believe that, like, oh man, I must have done this and that.
I was gonna say that's why, like during the North slavery times, they wouldn't allow us to like read the Bible, persecute you for reading because they didn't want you. It's not just I mean, this is the main thing because America is supposed to be established as this Christian country. They try to portray like like the Edomites, like they was these God-fearing Christian people. One of the main, even like to this day, the top selling book is like the Bible. So, they didn't want us reading the Bible, putting all this stuff together. Like, there would be what's it called, representation.
Not like you said, right? When Nat Turner, and Dan, that was so crazy about that is, the Edomite woman was like, yeah, he went to go grab up a book, and she was like, oh, that book ain't for you. She's like, this book was more for you, and it was the Bible. And he actually went back and was teaching his people the correct doctrine. That's where a lot of those doctrines now come from. You had these Christian doctrines, right? So you have a Baptist, Mormon, Pentecostal, AMA, Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witness. All these different so-called religions, but they all go back to the so-called white man. All right. Even like now, you watch the Praise Channel or whatever, man. They teach that same doctrine, man. You got the niggas when the niggas start teaching, they be like, oh, Jesus, like that's a damn demon on you, man. Even if Edomites teach it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like that movie. That movie, Birth of a Nation, it kind of shows you how, Esau would let a so-called black man be a preacher or a minister or whatever, but it's like he would be watching your every move, breathing down your neck, making sure that you teach the doctrine that he wants you to teach. Like, first and foremost, you don't teach the so-called Negroes that they're the Israelites. You don't teach them that.
So what is the book? It's the same book though, right? You know what I mean? The Bible.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's the way that they were breaking it down.
Yeah, matter of fact, all right, Mama Grant, and I'm gonna tell you because this was in the movie 12 Years a Slave. What they'd do is they'd take certain parts out of the Bible and tell you, like the scripture you about to get, man, it tells you no man can serve two masters. Because back then it was a slave. So you have a master, you have this master, you have that master. But they want you to be humble to them. You know what I'm saying? Like in the movie Birth of a Nation, when Nat Turner, the one preacher, was saying all this crazy stuff to him, and he started reciting scriptures to back up what he was saying, and they whooped his ass for that. They whooped Nat Turner's ass for that. And then they took him off, he wasn't allowed to preach no more. You know what I'm saying? So that's their whole agenda. Their doctrine, and that's why our people be like, yo, that's a white man's book. Because the way that they take something for us now, first of all, we're not even supposed to eat pork, shrimp, none of that, right? But you'll go to a church or whatever, and after you get done the service, you know what I'm saying, they'll go eat eggs and eat dinner. Yeah, they have a whole damn pork platter for them.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be the Sabbath, so it's a Sabbath, right?
Exactly, with heat and all that. So that's like, no, and then even back, well, we still in slavery time. But they used to give us slop. All the slop, like shit, pigs eat all that. even pigs, swine, all that. And now people thought they was eating good, man. Because they know, crackers know the Bible. And they know what we're not supposed to eat. And the reason why they do those things because they don't want us to turn back to the Lord. Because they know what's going to happen to them.
Do like, cause I got like a blog talk show, do y'all like do interviews and stuff like that?
I mean, I see this, man. Like, we could talk and all that, man. We really don't get into all that. Like, we don't get debate. Well, we debate, we debate on the streets.
Yeah, I'm not like a, that's what I'm saying. I'm not a debate. I'm just like inviting you on the show. I had like, Zariat, you know Zariat? He came on my show. Ashar, he came on my show. Daniel Allen came on my show before.
I know.
Yeah,
he got a Mac
TV. Yeah, all the brothers came on my show. So, you know, I just invite him on the show to do pretty much what you're doing now. I mean, if you would like, I just offer it. There's a lot of people that, watch the channel or whatever. So, I mean, we can exchange numbers. I'm about to go see this movie, that's why.
Well, what's, just take down the
GMS. It's a GMS Watchmen.
Is that GMS Watchmen?
But like you said, Zariak and them dudes, man, these guys, they like spotlight and all that.
That's the only way the message is gonna get out there, bro.
Well, that's all
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, but
yeah, but we out here. That's why we out here now. That's why you got YouTube and things like that. You know what I'm saying?
we gotta take advantage of those things, man.
That's what we're doing right now. You know, YouTube will get out there. Definitely gonna get out there.
So Matthew 6, verse 24, it says, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to them the one and despise the other."
One more time, what is it?
GMS Watchmen Philadelphia at gmail.com. Now, like the brother just read, it say, no man can serve two masters. For you are love the one and hate the other, right? Basically, like, you know what I'm saying? It said, no man shall serve two masters. And back in that time, that's why I said, well, in the description, because the crackers was trying to say, like, they was our masters. They put it, they made themselves masters.
It's Watchmen or Watchmen?
Watchmen. But yeah, so you know, they was trying to say that they was the masters and you couldn't serve another master. So they was like, man, you can't be my slave and somebody else's slave. You know? Which basically, which the scripture's not even talking about that, man. Alright? The scripture is completely not talking about that, man. Alright? It's talking about serving the Lord and serving money, man. You know, or serving the ways of the so-called white man. Or any other heathens, man. Alright? You can't claim to be in the truth and still want to be a damn devil, man. You know? But you got dudes that do that, man. Don't want to come out on the highways and byways, man. Put their hand in the plow and then turn their back. You know? We're not out here, man, for the sake of ourselves, man. We out here doing the job that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua told us to come out here and do, man. And that's spread the word, man.